Britain for research investigating the synthesis of hydrazine derivatives via BF3 catalyzed reaction of azo dicarboxylates with aromatic compounds. All I had to do was say it. He had to do it. Our chemistry majors may have to help explain that to all of us after the ceremony. Josh has served as a student tutor in general and organic chemistry for 3 years. Josh has also excelled on the soccer field. He has served as the captain of the Barry College soccer team for the past 2 years and is a 4-year letterman. He was named a first team All-Conference and first team All-South player in 2012 and first team Academic All-American in 2013. Josh lives out our mission of integrating the head, the heart, and the hands. Following graduation, Josh plans to pursue a soccer career in either the United States or Europe, and to quote Josh, "When the real world comes knocking, I'll go back to graduate school to become an organic chemistry professor." Please join me in welcoming our student commencement speaker, Josh Hughes.
Thank you, Dean Heine, for that wonderful introduction. Good morning to the esteemed professors, faculty, and especially parents and families who are joining us today, without whom any of this would be possible. Seniors, if you would you stand up with me and applaud everyone who has made this day possible for you? Barry has been a wonderful example for us to live out our mission and exceeding in our work, in our college, and especially in building relationships. It has been an integral and valuable experience in our lives, and we can't thank you enough for it. Today, though, I have a story for you that I hope might give you another perspective as you go out and forth and conquer your world. It was in late June, about midday on a Saturday. I was just finishing up a soccer practice. I was about 14 at the time. After practice, I grabbed my things from a bench and started my long walk back to the parking lot. Now, this was close to about a half-mile walk, which usually gave me plenty of time to think about the hot June air or think about how I played that day, but on this day, something was different. As I walked, I noticed a rabbit hopping in between the light poles that lit the field by night. Only thing was, this rabbit was 5 foot tall, wearing all pink with a fluffy white face, yelling, "Hey, Josh!" at the top of his lungs. With my teammates watching from the hill, laughing, I walked down to meet what looked to be the Easter Bunny. When I got to it, I looked the Easter Bunny in the big white face and I said, "Hey, Mom." This is my mother, who in many ways is the polar opposite of me. The yin to my yang. While I find myself being fairly level-headed and having the emotional range of a cactus, this is a woman who is almost always the most emotionally invested person in the room. What I mean is that she's really radical, never fearing to say or do anything, and one who, if I asked any person I knew to describe her in one word, it would certainly be crazy. But for those of you who don't know her, allow me to introduce you. She is the woman in the back who is going to ignore Dr. Richardson asking me to hold your applause until after the student's name to be called. She's going to do that by we all have an Easter Bunny, and I'm sure that many of you have adopted the live, learn, and laugh mentality about it. You've accepted it, you've learned from it, and now that you can laugh about it, you can even tell it to your friends and those you know. Even if you haven't completely recovered from it, I'm sure that you at least feel better about what happened. With time, you have grown more accustomed to what happened and realize that what happened at the time isn't so bad in retrospect. With this in mind, I want to go back to my Easter Bunny incident. At the time, of all the things I could have done or said, or even just run away, I went with, "Hey, Mom." I look back on this moment now as a funny story, but more importantly, as a huge self-realization in my life. I wasn't embarrassed. All the things that she had done, all the times that she went out of her way to embarrass me, she couldn't do it anymore. I had built up this immunity from being embarrassed so many times that even the Easter Bunny in June couldn't touch me. I was fearless, limitless, ready for whatever she could throw at me and equally apt to accept it. For all the times that she embarrassed me, I realized that there was an underlying lesson to it. This was her greatest lesson. That regardless of what may happen to you, there is no point in feeling any shame about it. Rather, embrace it, because in the end, it will likely end up just being a funny story. Now, one of my idols, Christian Bale, believes in this wholeheartedly. If you don't know Christian Bale, he played the most recent Batman in the Dark Knight movies. He said that there's a certain character that can be built from embarrassing yourself endlessly. If you can sit happy with embarrassment, there's not much else that can get to you. These are wise words coming from someone who will always be remembered for running around in a cape and a costume. To you, the 2014 graduating class, I implore you to live like this. Live limitless. Don't let others dictate or criticize your goals or dreams. While we embrace the plethora of people who have helped us along our journey, our professors, our faculty, and most importantly, our families, no one has forced you to major in accounting only to crunch 4 years worth of numbers and headaches. No one forced you to read more pages than Barry has deer for your English literature major. Heck, judging from the common "you" response I get, I'd be hard-pressed to convince anyone to major in chemistry, even if I paid them. You sit here today because you followed your plan. So why would you let anyone deter you from your end goal? Why would you sacrifice any bit of your dream because of how others may perceive your efforts? Ultimately, then, I leave you with these final words. The world ahead of you is yours to build. You must be the one to push your horizon as far as it can go. For all the work that you survived in order to be here today, you owe it to yourself and to those who have supported you to follow your path limitlessly. Don't be afraid of failure, because failure can only be deemed permanent by you. If there is something you would fight for at the expense of your own embarrassment, spare no expense. And if there is anything you want badly enough, take a chance, because the worst case scenario is that it will likely end up being just another Easter bunny. Thank you.